Welcome to INS, the International News Service, your source for the most important weird news from across the globe. With news analyst Kevin Harrison, actor, comedian, and musician Mike Wiebe, and professional commentator Brian Camp. INS, the news you need.
So let me just point out, this is our 52nd episode. We've done a full year, and we didn't, like those more popular podcasts, we didn't take a week or two off in December.
Yeah.
We just powered through.
Was that an option? Could we have taken some time off?
No.
Oh, well.
Our contract wouldn't let us.
Oops.
It was a real fucking Scrooge type scenario.
Contract with big podcast.
Yeah, BP.
I guess next week would be our 1 year anniversary, but this completes a year.
We're ending the year. This is like you've started a race. You're clearly not going to win the race, but Coach instilled some real values in you.
Coach Casey standing on the sidelines, handing you a bottle of urine as you're running.
You know, like the people who subscribe for our bonus episodes will know what you're talking about, and no one else will.
Well, I mean, that's why people need to get the bonus episodes. Honestly, you're missing out on
They're missing out on something great.
Gold.
Right.
Literal gold. You're listening out on a golden shower.
Liquid gold. That's beaver urine, right? Didn't we establish that?
No, it came from a man.
Well, Coach Casey's a man.
No, liquid gold was maple syrup.
Frozen maple syrup?
Yeah, maple syrup.
Mm-hmm. That, my friends, is a callback.
I do suggest people get the Patreon for that extra story and just to support probably the hardest working news team in the business. And who works harder than us? I mean, say it.
Oh.
And we don't have any spin.
No
spin zone.
No, are we allowed to say that as Bill O'Reilly? Didn't he invent
we're allowed to say that that's Bill O'Reilly, but
it's actually Baba O'Reilly. Teenage Wasteland.
I almost attempted to hum the keyboard line and then realized that's not hummable.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Sometimes I feel like I am in a teenage wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
But you're 46.
That's why it's a wasteland.
Yeah, barely 46.
Right. Well, who knows how old he is? He's had that damn amulet for so long.
That's not even,
true.
Exactly. I present as 46.
It's a real mystery.
Mm-hmm.
One of the many mysteries that someday may be revealed to the sustained and avid listener of INS, the International News Service.
Maybe at one point I'll get into where I got my amulet and what its glowing sigils mean.
What runic language they come from. Maybe from ancient Babylon. Maybe part of the 13th sign, or Philus, or whatever it was.
Orpheus. Yeah.
Orpheus,
yeah.
Yes.
Orpheus,
Orpheus.
The god of booger eating.
He's the serpent bearer.
Serpent bearer.
Serpent, like Serpentor.
Right.
Serpentor.
So Serpentor. Surely there's some sort of giant monster or robot man named Serpentor.
Wait, you don't know what Serpentor is?
Serpentor was the snake.
Why would I know?
The snake, the genetically created snake man that took over Cobra from Cobra Commander.
And where did his genetic code come from?
I think every bad leader.
Yeah.
Like Hitler and Mussolini and Bill Clinton.
He comes with a gun and a saxophone in the package.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't allowed to play with toys that had that many opposable joints.
Was there an accident or something?
It was a sin.
Yeah.
It's a sin. It's like it wasn't quite Amish dolls where they can't have faces, but I wasn't allowed to have.
Because you're not allowed
to be that close to human. Yeah, it was idolatry.
It's God's job to create man in his image. It's not man's job to create man's in his own image. It's just like a copy of a copy.
Every time you pick up that multi-jointed Shipwreck or Snake Eyes or the others whose names I've never known except from the cartoons. Duke. That was one of them, right? Duke.
Yeah, Gung Ho.
Duke one. Odd Job. Jaws. Right?
Blofeld.
Blofeld, classic G.I. Joe character.
Hey, there really is a
Blofeld.
Q on James Bond, isn't there?
Yeah, that's true. Is that the guy who makes all his toys? Is that right?
He makes
Yeah.
all the JFK clones.
And M's his boss.
Yeah, that's I forget. There's so many letter people.
And Moneypenny, she dated Shipwreck.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But she had an affair with Scarlett in college.
Well, it's a time to experiment. Can we please talk about the?
So our first story.
We haven't even introduced ourselves.
Oh wait, we got to do the intro, don't we? Welcome to the
No,
international.
you would think, Kevin, after
Yes.
a year,
Uh-huh.
you
Yeah.
would think that on the crowning achievement, the star on the tree that is a year of INS, the angel that a young child was lifted to place atop the tree.
The ball
The
at
pinnacle.
the pointy part of the Taj Mahal.
Yes, the Taj ball.
Wait, this is our anniversary episode?
No, next week
this
is
next week
no.
This is next week's anniversary. This is our 1
This
year.
is
We
Eve.
completed a year.
This is like a dry run.
Yeah.
This is where we get out all the shitty stuff before the really
Dry
good
run.
anniversary.
This is Anniversary Eve.
Another famous G.I. Joe. She was a villain, though.
Eve.
Anniversary Eve. She showed up at birthdays and shot you with a laser.
Wow, red laser, because that's how you knew they were evil.
It's okay. I ate a parachute.
Yes.
The
Brian?
point I'm trying to make, Kevin, is
Yes.
that you would think we would be a little more rehearsed.
Welcome to the International News Service. We're your hosts. I'm Kevin Harrison, along with.
I am Brian Camp.
I'm Mike Wiebe.
Did someone leave and rejoin us?
I'm here.
He left and rejoined us, much like the Babylonian tale of Gilgamesh. It's the audio man with the cans in your earphones. He doesn't have titties. Okay, fucking weirdos. Mark Ryan.
Hi, everybody.
A true serpent bearer.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not a serpent bearer. I'm a scorpion.
A scorpion
Are you-
king.
Ooh, is there a vinegaroon bearer?
Ooh.
Oh, they are a kind of
Ooh.
scorpion.
Yeah. They're better than a scorpion, though.
So, does that mean I'm not a Virgo no more?
You're a Leo.
Does that mean I'm not a Virgo no more? That's a good question to ask.
I'm a Leo. Well, that's something.
Well, what am I then?
I can't remember when your birthday is, Brian.
The spheres.
Brian's birthday is next week.
On you are.
Is it next week? That's right, date-wise, right?
No, you're way off.
Is 3 weeks.
I mean, that's closer. It would have to be, right?
Or it could be further away, you know?
Yeah,
Like, what if
who
it was
knows?
last week?
It's tomorrow. You inconsiderate assholes. This whole time I've been waiting for you to wish me a happy birthday and mail me an anniversary Eve that I've always wanted since I was a kid to complete my G.I. Joe collection.
I sent 30 vinegaroons to your house.
I do have a gift for you. Want me to go show it to you, Brian? You just want me to bring it over.
I want to see it, and I want you to bring it over because the inconvenience is part of the
Let me go
gift
get it.
to me.
Let me go get it real
Oh,
quick.
no.
You guys keep talking.
All right.
You're Sagittarius, then.
Oh, what does that mean? Does that mean Sagittarius?
Like a
That
hunter or
is
something?
ooh.
You're a sage.
Well, you know what? I think that kind of fits, and I think anyone who listens to us is like, yeah, they probably would have called me as a sage, so a wise person.
The
then.
last time I saw Brian in person, he bought some sage.
I did, and it smelled like garbage all over my house. And Mike, you're
Oh, shit. Here
Yeah, I
I
don't
am.
think
oh, there you are.
Yeah,
There you
there
are.
you are.
There you
Okay.
are. There you are.
Well, this is in reference to what job did you have that you learned about UFOs and then never will tell everyone about them because you're stingy with ufology?
No cone sales.
I was in snow cone sales. I also was in the Navy.
That's true.
That's a thing. That is
So, in honor of your service, I
true. Oh.
got this for you. It's this.
Now, what does it say, Brian?
It says naughty by nature, but the naughty is spelt Nauti. So it's a fun play on words with nautical, I believe. And above the by in the long box, it appears to be maybe a clove hitch, a knot.
Yeah, it's a clove hitch.
Cloverfield hitch. In honor of J.J. Abrams' masterpiece. It's
That is
a
awesome.
wooden sign. It's about yay.
Oh, cool.
So you can put that on your
I can put that on my desk
desk at work.
so everybody knows what they're getting into.
Yeah, because it's like, it's fun, but it also lets people know that you can kill a shark if you have to.
I mean, we all could kill a shark if we had to.
Well, you especially have experience killing sharks. You've killed them before.
Yeah, only by poisoning the ocean with toxic materials.
Well,
Kind of a slow. Although it would be like I always imagine.
nonetheless,
I feel like the funnest way to kill a shark would sneak up and jam both your hands in its gills on either side and just hang on, because it couldn't get you anymore, right? And then it couldn't process the water or whatever it does.
yeah.
I think that would be a fun way to kill an animal.
So
How far do sharks go down?
yeah, I feel like you could just dive and you would get the bends.
I bet you'd kill it first. You only get the bends from coming back up. No, you wouldn't get the bends at all because you got to be down for a really long time. Because the bends is just, it's nitrogen expanding in your joints as you raise too quickly to the surface after being underwater at depth for too long, because the nitrogen becomes pressed into your tissue.
I'm sure our listeners really want to know this.
Look, we have a lot of professional divers who listen to the show, and we got to set the record straight for those guys and gals.
A lot of people who are interested in getting into diving and sharks and knots.
They're diving for the treasure of the serpent bearer.
So our first story comes to us from USA Today.
Oh. That's, and for our international listeners, that's the United States of America today. So this is not going to be, for us, an international story. Yeah. I'm not quite sure why we're still covering these, but let's go.
Texas is known for its extreme weather, including hot, dry summers and frigid, icy winters. On Christmas Day this year, it was 85 degrees or 29 degrees Celsius. And as I was typing this a week later, it was 32 outside or 0 degrees Celsius.
That's freezing.
Thanks,
That's
Brian.
freezing.
That's freezing cold.
Freezing cold. Literally freezing cold.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
What freezes at 0, Brian?
Right.
What freezes?
Fear.
That's a line, and you've got to be writing some fan fiction.
No,
where...
that's a line from the Jack Wharton trilogy.
Right.
It's from Jack Wharton in the Alps.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Is that, have you struggle with some sort of interpersonal turmoil that's holding you back?
You
in
know,
the cold?
the character's been, famous for being afraid of Yetis and Sasquatch.
Right. Referenced in the early films. And
Yeah, when he goes like, tell you one thing about me, I fucking hate Sasquatch. So when he's forced to fight Yetis, some of that phobia comes out because he's afraid of...
Or the abominable snowman.
Abominable snowman. He's afraid of what they're going to do to him if they catch him. Because it's cold out there.
What do you mean? Like, what would they do?
Well,
I don't get it.
Because it's based in reality. So these, in the beginning, we see it's just like a villager. That's like the cold open of the movie, literally cold open.
That's true.
These Yetis come upon this camper and they just rip all his clothes off and one holds him up, but over a mountainside, and he's buck naked and his legs are just flailing all around, and all the other Yetis are just going like, and then a couple like wolves come up and howl in laughter.
Oh man, that had to be awful for that fictional character.
So none of that crazy weather, whether in the Alps or in Texas, compares to what happened in Texarkana, Texas on December 30th.
Ooh, why is it called Texarkana, Kevin?
Because it's on the border of Texas and Arkansas.
Oh, fascinating.
The employee of a Texarkana car dealership explained it best. Quote, "There was a loud crack of thunder, and when we opened up the bay door, I looked outside, and it was raining real hard, and a fish hit the ground. Apparently, the city was rained on by fish. What had happened is that a waterspout formed on the nearby Lake Texarkana. A waterspout is a kind of tornado that can form over bodies of water, and this one swept up hundreds of fish and thousands of gallons of water before dumping them over the city. The city wrote on its Facebook page, quote, 2021 is pulling out all the tricks, and added, quote, while it's uncommon, it happens, as evidenced in several places in Texarkana today."
Isn't this USA Today just covering up for another of God's miracles?
Mhm.
Isn't that what's happening here? Or at least a plague?
It's God saying that women shouldn't be wearing jeans.
Yeah, I think if you look at the chart, fish from sky equals women in denim.
Denim jeans.
Denim.
It says it's so clear in the Bible when it says women ought not wear pantaloons of a man, but the dresses of a lass. Ecclesiastes 4:14.
Ecclesiastes.
Yes. That's the book.
That feels like the 14th
4:14.
Babylonian astrological sign. Ecclesiastes.
This sounds just like a real southern fried rednecky movie Magnolia.
Oh yeah, those damn frogs, right?
Yeah.
Those were big frogs.
They were huge.
Were the fish as big as those frogs?
I don't want little frogs. I couldn't find any fish pictures, which is strange to me.
Couldn't find any fish pics?
They probably don't allow modern technology like cameras into their shows.
Yeah.
I thought that was their thing. Aren't they all Luddites? And boring music players?
Well, boring music players. I'll give you that.
Sorry,
but I don't know anything else about them other than boring music players.
Who's boring music players?
Fish.
Oh yeah. They're not good.
DHISH.
We should probably take that out. I don't want to upset.
Yeah, I don't want to upset anyone too, because I know that some people love them, and I don't like to talk smack about artists.
I support everyone's right to love shitty music.
Only mine.
Brian, you can love all the shitty music you want.
I don't know. I don't have to support somebody doing something I don't like. I think I'm allowed to dislike what they do and them for doing it.
Yeah.
The way I was raised.
Fair.
And tell them that they need to quit, and that anybody who likes them does not get invited to any of my birthday parties.
Right.
I haven't been invited to one of your birthday parties in like 6 years.
Well, maybe stop listening to String Cheese Incident.
Right.
Hippie.
Quit riding that unicycle all over town.
Yeah.
I just can't walk away.
I would like to clarify, Kevin. I'm fine with people listening to any kind of music they want.
I'm not.
Mike just wants people to listen to his music.
Well, yes, because it's the best of all the types.
Our next story comes to us from Belfast Live.
The best of all the types.
Yes, of music.
Uh-huh. Do
I need to spell it out for you? The best of all the types of music.
No, it's very concise. I like your confidence. I'm sure.
It's not.
I'm sure it comes through. I'm sure it comes through in your music.
They hooked a bunch of mini brains up to.
This is last week.
A CD player, and they played.
Was Dr. Mecton involved?
And they played some of my stuff. They played some Fish, Kevin's favorite band, String Cheese Incident. Led Zeppelin, The Who's, and just all the mini brains responded with 10 out of 10 for me, and anywhere between 4 to 8 on all those other bands.
Did you play any dubious scientists for him?
Oh yeah, I mean there's one, and it was like there's one weird brain who loved it. The one it was a brain that sat in a checkerboard petri dish. And I had a little fedora on.
That's right. It was just dubious science, right? Was it dubious science or dubious science?
Dubious science was the ska band.
It's a callback to 6 months ago.
Well, that's why if you're a hardcore listener, you think you get fucking paid off,
right?
That's right.
This year ending episode is a real treat.
Yeah,
to the loyalists.
Yes,
I think that story was cut actually.
Rick.
It's just in our memories, not anybody else.
Well, Mike referenced it on his other podcast as well.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That canceled podcast.
Yeah, on his canceled podcast.
Well, whatever. The good people of France and Norway and Denmark and Ireland, of the Balkans, the Falkland Islands, of Fiji,
the Falkland Islands,
of Australia. There's that one person in Antarctica who we think listens.
Ted?
To those good people. Yep. This episode is for you.
So this next story takes us to Northern Ireland.
Not this story, though. The other parts of this episode are for you, but this is just
for Northern Ireland.
This is gravy.
This next story takes us to Northern Ireland.
Hell yeah.
Had a bit of an uptick in UFO phenomena last year.
Ooh, and it also started getting into international news service. Coincidence? I think so.
I don't actually know if we get any listeners in Northern Ireland because it's part of the UK. So it just
they're trying to spy on Southern Ireland.
That's just Ireland.
in the South.
In the South. The South.
Yeah. Mike was being descriptive for people who might be looking at a map.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and Kevin, just so I know, and so the listener knows, what does UFO stand for?
Yeah.
Unidentified flying object.
Okay.
In 2019, police in Northern Ireland received just 4 reports of UFOs.
Don't you mean bobbies?
Bobbies.
Since
They
it's
called
the
them
UK, aren't they bobbies?
In Belfast Live, they referred to them as police.
Belfast Live.
Yes. It could be Belfast Live.
Is that the one where they do all the funny characters on Saturday nights?
No, that's Saturday Night Live.
No, that's what we have here. But over there, they have their own version that we actually stole from them, where it's like sketches and characters, and there's like a young cast member covered in tattoos that dates all their celebrities over there.
Oh,
inexplicably.
So in 2019, police in Northern Ireland, or bobbies,
thank you,
received just 4 reports of UFOs, but that number jumped to 6 in 2020, and in 2021, it jumped again to 8 sightings.
Yeah.
These include a sighting of a UFO with flashing lights in January, 2 sightings of UFOs in May, 2 more sightings, including one caught on closed caption TV in July, a report of aliens in the bedroom in September, a mental patient reported being abducted in October, and a report of, quote, unusual bright lights in the sky in November.
Those numbers, as we say in the bodybuilding community, are solid gains.
That's right. Well, and it must be nice to live in a place that just sees more UFOs. I think that's neat.
Oh yeah, I wish that we were seeing more UFOs here.
You saw a UFO, Mike.
I did see a UFO. I saw 5. There's like 5 of them in the night sky.
But you later identified them, correct?
No.
You never identified them?
No, that was the Elon Musk space train. But when I was a kid, I was walking across a field and I saw these 5 lights, and each one was like, it was real weird. They like changed from red to blue, kind of fade into green, fade into yellow, fade back into red. Stone cold sober. This is before I got involved in the edibles world, and they. But and each one was like it's weird. They were like in a formation, but then it was like they were playing. They just like move around and kind of like go up and like in different ways. And it was just like they were kind of like floating around and moving as they went across the sky. And it wasn't that they were like faster than anything that I've ever seen, but they just moved in a way that I've just never seen aircraft move. And I've looked out I never saw anything like that before, never seen anything like that after.
Have you ever read a UFO account that describes them, that account that is describing whatever that person saw in a similar way to what you saw? Yeah,
well, the movement for sure. I don't know about the color so much, but it's just, especially as that color, that fading color thing, where it's like, man, I just feel like I would see that again on something. But it was real weird. They were like pretty bright lights, and it would kind of change from the lights seemed kind of bigger than a normal plane. And just the weird, like, it was like yellow and it kind of like fade into blue, fade into, just these colors. It was real weird.
And they all seemed to move independently of one another? Or did there seem to be a connection between
they would move independently, but they would move independently. And, but occasionally like 2 would kind of like move synchronously. But it was just like they were just kind of like fucking around or something.
How high on the horizon were they? Like, was your neck craned back quite a bit, or you feel like you were looking pretty straight ahead?
We were in this field. It was in the Jennings Elementary field, Denton, and
Feeder to Strickland. It's kind of a pussy school.
Well, it's a grade school, so they hadn't started shipping in felons like they did at. They just hadn't started shipping in 25-year-old felons like they did at Strickland Junior High. But I don't know. I mean, it wasn't like straight up in the sky. Just you didn't have to crane your neck a ton though, like medium amount.
Could you tell did you get a sense that they were very far away or close?
No, I mean, I would have thought that they weren't that far away, but I remember one time when there was this crazy thing it was like the brightest shooting star you've ever seen ever, like shot across the sky, and it turned out that the next day they reported in the papers that it was a Russian weather satellite missile that entered our and it landed like in like northern Oklahoma. But from where I thought, I was like, man, I bet if I drive, I was like, I bet if, and I was too young to drive, I think. But in my head, I was like, man, I bet if we, just drive 5 miles north, we can find it, So it's hard to tell.
Did you get a sense though that it was in Earth's atmosphere or out in space?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was in like where an airplane might fly. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Like I said, like the main thing that was weird about was like the color change, and then and also like logically, let's say there were 5 planes like flying to an Air Force base somewhere. I don't know. I don't know what fucking Air Force pilots do or whatever, but it seems to me like, why would they fuck around like that at night? Like, it's like done the Blue Angels, they gotta like look at each other's wings.
Well, you'd see more than one light per too. There's a bunch of lights on planes.
Let's get back to UFOs in Northern Ireland, shall we?
Well, this is a fucking first-hand account, I guess.
Yeah. I'm curious.
I feel like the listener is lucky to hear about possibly the source of my trauma.
How long did you keep looking at the lights until they disappeared?
Yeah,
were they so you didn't lose interest? Did they disappear over the horizon, or did they just blink out?
No, they just fade out.
They
just kind of disappeared over the horizizon.
Okay. Did anyone else see the lights? Were you with anyone?
There was about 5 of us.
Okay. Are you in contact with any of those?
Yes.
4 other people?
Yeah.
And do they still hold true to the same story? Is their experience any different than yours?
Well, one person was just like, no, those are just planes. Those are just planes, in a very forceful, like, don't freak me out kind of way. But the other people, the thing is, like, it wasn't like, you always think that when you see a UFO, you're going to be like, whoa. But this was more like what's that? Well, that's weird. That's, man, wow. So nobody was like freaking out or anything. It was more just like isn't that crazy? And I was definitely checking my watch to make sure I didn't have any missing time, which I did not.
Was there was never any sense then that the lights were aware of you looking at the lights?
Not at all.
Okay.
It felt like
so it always felt remote.
Off.
It always felt like something that you were just merely observing. There was nothing in the record chronicle or anything later about.
No, and I definitely checked.
Interesting. Well, maybe someday we'll have enough time to talk about this very experience, a very interesting life experience you had. Yeah. Let's hear more about these sellouts in Ireland.
A journalist who'd previously researched UFO reports for the UK's Ministry of Defence said, quote, COVID-19 and lockdowns may have played a role with people having more time on their hands during the pandemic and perhaps spotting things that previously may have gone unnoticed. He also said that recent political pressure in the U.S. to declassify Pentagon UFO files may be influencing people in Northern Ireland to report UFO sightings.
Maybe they're just looking up more. Maybe they're a little more aware.
Watch the skies.
Just said that.
And these are good Irish people that are seeing this phenomena just like I did when I was a kid. And let me tell you guys in Ireland, the truth is out there.
Did you report it to the Bobbies?
To the Bobbies.
They're police, Kevin.
The truth is out there.
In Denton, they're called Bobbies.
In Denton, we call them pigs. We hide our 40s from them on Fry Street.
Yeah, that happens.
However, he said that these reports are likely inaccurate, adding, quote, sadly, the numbers are still fairly low, and I suspect there's chronic underreporting perhaps because of perceived stigma.
All right, I take it back.
That might be true. And also, like, nobody knows. Like, we didn't report anything because, like, who do you call? And don't say Ghostbusters because they deal with ghosts. Who are you going to call?
Right.
There's no song about that.
Right.
There's no movie about that.
Uh-huh. What about sightings? Or not sightings, Communion, Whitley Strieber.
Yeah, if it was a one-off movie. It's not. It's done.
Can you call communion? Is that a thing you can call?
You can get it from a priest.
Yeah.
They'll probably get all pissed off because they don't believe in fucking. They'll say they're cool with it, but they're full of shit.
Right. Right. Well, they're just upset that NASA didn't call.
Yeah,
them to
exactly.
help prepare for
they didn't get paid to
the impending alien.
Yeah,
the impending secular alien
get
invasion.
paid to talk to people about fucking UFOs. While the rest of us are working at a goddamn counter at a coffee shop in the middle of a hotel and casino.
So this next story was submitted by Mark Ryan.
Oh, Mark Tholomew.
That's right. It comes from the New York Times because Mark is rich and can afford subscriptions to the New York Times.
The Times, the paper of records.
Yes.
The Gray Lady.
The old Whistle House.
This next story comes to us from the old Whistle House.
Yo, Whistle House.
Birthing and caring for babies in the middle of a pandemic has not been easy for parents. But now some parents are seeking out a way to commemorate the trials of the last 2 years with jewelry made from breast milk.
Ugh.
Well, I think that taking care of a pet during the last couple of years is probably harder than taking care of a baby, but I'm sure
Yep.
I'm sure that there's some difficulties in there.
Right.
This is a new pet, like a puppy? You had to
No,
train
it's an
it?
older dog.
I can see how that would be very difficult for you, Mike.
Jeez.
For you, it'd be real hard.
No, it's difficult for everybody.
No, I mean, but yeah, for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I'm a person and I'm in the group that is with all of humanity that have a pet that they have to take care of. Two pets, actually, cat and a dog. So,
right. Is that an indoor cat?
No, indoor, outdoor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of...
Don't you have a lot of raccoons around your house?
I got to deal with the raccoon situation too.
Yeah, you got a lot to take care of.
I got possums. There's an owl that lives in my neighborhood.
Oh, well, owls are cool. That's a good thing to have around. I think they're lucky too.
I know, but it still work.
How is that? What do you do for the owl that's work?
What are you doing for the owl? You cleaning up pellets?
Feed him Tootsie Roll Pops.
Yep. Is it always 3?
Yeah, pretty consistently.
Oh.
Sometimes it's a bit off if we are. I think I don't know. I think it's always 3. Sometimes we lose count talking.
Wise. He's probably a Sagittarius. Wise old owl.
Not anymore. Now he's a Leo.
Oh, well, as long as he's not a serpent bearer.
No, but he kills serpents.
We talked about this last episode.
Kevin, you better stand by because we're going to be talking about this for the next year. There's going to be a lot of.
We better learn how to spell or how to pronounce Ouroboros or whatever it was.
Ouroboros, Urfabicus. What was it?
Ophiuchus.
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 Oh, Ophiuchus.
That's not a name you know. The other zodiac signs are like Ophiuchus.
Can we just get back to the news, please?
Yeah, now we better get back to the news.
2 companies called Keepsakes by Grace and Mama's Liquid Love
Hell yes.
make custom jewelry incorporating breast milk, which mothers seal up and mail off to the companies with their orders.
That was going to be a callback to dick oil.
Yeah,
that's for sure. It was.
Can you get the jewelry, but it's not jewelry yet? And can you pick
the breast milk?
Can you pick the source?
Well, no. So they bottle up their own breast milk and mail it off.
What can I get something from them?
There's probably websites for that.
I would like to. Please, if any listeners want to send me some bee milk, send me some of their BM. Please send it. Any ladies, please send your BMs my way. Hit me up in my DMs with your BMs.
The owner of Keepsakes by Grace said, quote, "A lot of my orders come from clients that are either suffering through a hard time or they're weaning and they're not yet ready. A lot of it comes from that, almost like a desire to continue, but either they can't or they decided it's time to stop. The owner launched her business in March after months of experimenting with making jewelry from her own breast milk and eventually landing on a method that involves dehydrating it to make a powder, then mixing the powder with resin to make a stone. Jewelry prices range from $60 to $1,500, and the owner of Mama's Liquid Love reported selling 4,000 pieces in 2021 alone."
Good for her.
Yeah, that's a good scam. I guess it's not a scam if people want it, but
It would be a scam if they just threw out the breast milk and went, "Here's your stone."
I think, and which is 100% what happens.
That's my guess. Is there's a big box of breast milk jewelry pre-made, and they get a container in, toss it in the old burn pit out back.
Send it to Mike.
You know what? They could have a side business sending it to Mike. He's in the market for BMs, ladies.
I don't need that much. I just need some for like a holiday party type situation.
Right.
What holiday is coming up that you drink breast milk?
Well, I mean, not any one soon, but have y'all ever had eggnog the way it was supposed to be?
Oh, no.
Like traditional eggnog?
No, what's the recipe for that,
Apparently
Mike?
not.
I mean, you can figure out what I'm talking about here.
No, I kind of want to.
What is in that?
You got rum.
Okay.
You got a splash of vodka. You have a cracked open egg, just floating at the top with the yolk. About
Piling up at you.
and about a half a pint of breast milk.
Oh,
Throw a little cherry in there, and you stir it. You don't shake it. Some people will say shake.
Oh.
No, stir. At least if you're,
Like James Bond.
well, it's more
Right.
like a Northern Irish way to do it.
so it's not a milkshake.
Yeah, it's not a milkshake. It's not, it's not something for
Milkster.
children to drink. You put it in like a sort of a villain's goblet, and you
right.
hold it like with a palm open with the stem going between your middle and forefinger, and you slowly sip, and then you laugh at your enemies while you're doing it on Christmas Eve.
Well, we got to wait a year, but I'm game. I need a villain's goblet. That's something that I realize I don't have at hand. That's too bad.
So our last story comes to us from Business Insider. And this story was submitted to us by Charisse.
Oh, Charisse.
This story is also COVID related. The latest unexpected social phenomenon that sprung up from the pandemic has been negative Amazon reviews for Yankee Candles. Yankee Candle is a Massachusetts candle company that sells large glass jars containing scented candles that, when lit, fill any room with scents like cedar, balsam, or apparently, I looked this up on the website, beach walk.
Oh, yeah.
I love the scent of beach walk.
Also, Yankee Candle is the stereotypical last-ditch gift for a relative you don't care that much about.
How many did you get this year, Brian?
I don't get gifts. We talked about the G.I. Joe thing. We
really?
don't do this.
Never?
Well, I don't get gifts I don't cherish and adore.
Mike is holding up the gift he bought for Brian.
The sign, naughty by nature, is a gift that I might be buried with that.
I mean,
it's it might be the first time in my life I've received something.
I see naughty by nature with the little the knot on there. I see that as a tombstone inscription.
Wow.
People will know like, he's dead, but he's fun.
So with you saying that and then giving that to Brian, is that like you saying tombstone is coming soon?
No, I'm not saying that at all. But I do give gifts that, it's more than what's just on the wood block.
And the wood block is a gift.
Yeah, you can beat the shit out of someone with this thing.
Yeah.
It is heavy.
Is it really?
It's got sharp edges. No, it's hollow, but it's got sharp edges.
I could fill it with lead, right? I could put pellets in it. Yeah. I could kill somebody with it.
Fill it with lead. You could probably, line it with plastic and keep breast milk in there.
Yeah. Could I jam it into shark's gills if I wanted
You
to?
could jam it in shark's gills for sure.
Yeah,
It would fuck up a shark's breathing thing. In fact, that was the original ending for Jaws. But then they went with the explosion because, I don't know, they just didn't have the technology to show what it would look like on the inside of a shark with a small little naughty by nature sign. Because Quint from fucking Jaws, that's what he had. He had one of these little wood blocks. And it was tattooed on his back, his whole back. It was like a back piece.
Right.
So new reviews have flooded Amazon saying that Yankee Candles suddenly have a barely noticeable scent or no scent at all. In order to determine what was happening, an assistant professor at Northeastern University charted the complaints for the top three.
Northeastern University? Northeastern what?
Northeastern University.
No, what Northeastern what though? What is that? That's just a direction.
That's a direction to the university. If you go northeast far enough, you will come across the university.
Due North University.
Where they're studying Yankee Candles.
You know where I would like to go to university? Is Bermuda Triangle University.
Shit.
You go there and you get a full four-year diploma, come back, but it's only been 6 hours.
That sounds like a mystery of the unexplained. That's a man enrolls in university. We both have said university without an article in front of it, and I feel like that is British influence
or Irish. Irish say it too. I like to think.
Did they say it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then it's okay.
Yeah.
So, an assistant professor at Northeastern University charted the complaint for the top 3 Yankee Candles on Amazon. He tracked when the negative reviews began and how much those complaints increased per week. His graph showed a sharp spike around December, just as the Omicron variant led to a new wave of COVID cases in the U.S. This isn't a new phenomenon either. Last year, a researcher at Bryn Mawr College found that Yankee Candles...
Great. Okay, yeah. Led Zeppelin school.
It's a real school.
A researcher at Led Zeppelin College
what do they have at Stairway to Heaven College?
I'm trying to tell you what Jimmy Page discovered. Because he's got a lot of candles.
I'm sure he does.
Jimmy Page found Yankee Candles dropped a full star in their ratings between January 2020 and November 2020, with the majority of negative complaints finding their candles suddenly had no scent.
Well, it sounds like they got a problem on the line. They've got like a production problem. Maybe they need to get some quality assurance folks out there to make sure they're putting the scents in the candles.
Yeah,
or a bunch of people have COVID and they're blaming their lack of scent on Yankee Candle.
Look, if I put out a subpar product that didn't have the scent it was supposed to, I would blame it on people who had
totally
a quote unquote illness as well.
Requests for comment were given to Yankee Candle, and they declined to comment on the reviews.
They know what's up.
Because in Yankee Candle's defense, anybody who goes to the trouble to review anything, especially something that costs $20, is a fucking psychopath. Anybody that reviews anything on the internet is a fucking psychopath. You're reviewing candles on the internet? Unless that candle fucking exploded and killed one of your kids, you don't need to fucking review a goddamn candle. You worthless human.
Very strong opinions on people who just want to help protect their fellow consumer.
From candles?
Well, sure. Why not? No, I agree with you. What if it was food? What do you mean?
Well, still, like, maybe, like, if you go to Yelp and you look at a restaurant, maybe you can glean a little bit of the idea if a place is maybe good or maybe bad, but you're a psychopath if you get on Yelp. If you're going to get out there and, every fucking Yelp review has a story about how the first time they went there, it was great. My daughter was teething back at home, so I needed to get in and out. Like, why do we need that fucking story? It's just sadness. It's just pure sadness.
Do you think it's just a cheap way for people to get a writing prompt?
I think there's a lot of
reading a book on how to become a writer, and it's always, find something to write about. And what's better than a review?
You know, I'll tell you I don't argue with strangers online anymore, but I did fairly recently because
It sounds like you still do then.
I did for the first time in like years.
Years.
Okay.
Yeah, like since like midway into or early into Trump presidency, I was like, wait a minute, this is not going. This is stupid.
No, there's no point.
But this dude, there was an article on local Denton establishment J&J's Pizza.
Oh, I like J&J's.
J&J's Pizza, which was an old, for the listener, there was on the town square, there was this quaint little pizza place. And it was like okay pizza or whatever, but there was a basement, and they did shows, they did music shows, they did comedy shows there for well over 25 years, and it was a kind of a mainstay, kind of DIY-ish venue of the town.
They ever let you play there?
Oh yeah, I mean Gamblers played our first shows there, Skeleton Kids, I think all my bands pretty much played down there, but like. It's just mainstay. So they're closing down, and they do an article about it in like the music column of some, and because it's of course everything's online too, and it was just about the history of the venue, and they talked to a lot of people who had played it, and where it was going to go and where shows were going to go now, and some fucking dillhole gets on there and just tells this just this long-winded thing about how he went and the waitress didn't pay him enough attention, and then when he got the pizza, he didn't like the pizza enough, and when he went and asked for they said it was going to be $19, but when he went, they charged him $24, and he couldn't figure that out why that was. And then he went and asked, and then they had to get like the manager, and the manager come up, and it took a whole 10 minutes out of his life to make sure he got his fucking $4 cheaper or whatever. And it just ruined his life. And he's glad the place closed because of that one experience with his pizza. And so I wrote in and I said, like, man, you are a real dipshit. You need to stick to places like Applebee's and TGI Fridays. That's more your speed, dog. You just insulted
his two favorite restaurants.
Well, then he was like, I don't go to places like that. I go to Campese's in Dallas. And then I really went off on him and just was just like, if you think that that's like a high quality fucking place, that's exactly what kind of a douchebag you are. Let me tell you this. Every waiter or waitress mocks you and makes fun of you because you don't tip and you suck. And because he made a big deal about how you didn't tip there. And I was just like, they all know you from the second you walk in with your fucking Crocs and your shorts when it's too warm. And the only thing he responded to was, I don't eat at those places. I eat at Campese's. Like there was no response to like the shorts, what he looks. I just imagine what he looked like, and I 100%. I mean, he didn't have to confirm it. I knew by the speech patterns, and so yeah. I mean, of course you're the guy that gets on a fucking music article to talk about how the pizza was kind of stale and the girl with the pink part of her hair didn't talk to me enough.
Right.
I'm white.
Right.
Well, that's not fair. Doesn't she know that I'm white and overweight?
Did John Stossel just...
Was this Andy Rooney?
No, this is John Stossel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
That's my rant of the evening.
Well,
that was a little bit of a Mike's. That is a little. I did get a little Mickey Rooney there. I did get a little Mickey Rooney there.
Little Mickey Rooney. It is strange to write a review of a business that you know beyond all doubt is no longer a business. Like why? What conceivable purpose is there to writing a pizza story about?
You went out of business. I win.
I think that was kind of it,
right? Like he's been holding a grudge for that long.
It was like 4 years ago that his
that's a bummer.
Horrible pizza incident happened.
That guy wakes up himself every day. That's punishment enough.
Your kids hate you, sir. They didn't get COVID this Christmas. They just don't like you.
So this episode drops on January 19th. Does anybody have anything coming up?
I'm going to track that motherfucker down and beat the shit out of him.
You are getting, I think, genuinely irate.
I'm going to find out where he lives, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to get the exact recipes for a J&J's pizza, and I'm going to make them exactly perfectly, except for I'm going to take a shit on the pizza, a human shit from my bowels, and I'm going to eat Indian food, and I'm going to shit on the pizza, and I'm going to find out where he lives. I'm going to knock on that door and go like, "Hey, sir, you just got a free pizza. It's from Campese's." And he'll go, "Oh, Campese's. I got an old-fashioned there one time. My fingers are getting sweaty. I better get to it now."
This is Ed Wynn.
This motherfucker is so fat he can't bend his fingers. Like, he's not even that fat. It's just that he's like got fucking meat fingers and he can't bend them.
Just what liquid collects in his fingers.
It looks like fucking Howie Mandel blew up a rubber glove. Is what his hands look like.
He's going to pinch his hands together just to hold a slice. I just like the idea of his hands are all just sweaty. That's his sign to hurry up and eat. My hands are getting sweaty.
It's not just his hands. His fingers sweat.
Is it an accurate? Is it kind of a thicker sweat?
Oh, for sure. He's like George R. Martin, but without the ability to write erotic fiction about
shiny penises
and three-way sex and quail eggs or whatever.
A lot of quail egg talk in those books.
What if it's not sweat and it's just thousands of pustules exploding all at once and constantly?
It might be that, or his hands just might be covered in penis oil.
I think the preferred term is dick oil. But
dick oil, yeah. I was trying to.
Maybe you can get some jewelry made.
Yeah. Hey,
dick oil jewelry.
Can we do that, Kevin? If they did breast milk jewelry, can we have dick oil jewelry?
We'll see what we can do.
Just find an old sock that's got some stuff dried up on it already, right?
Because it should be easier. Because they say blood is thicker than water. Well, cum is thicker than breast milk. That's the other thing that they say.
They say that all the time.
Who says that again?
Well, I think it was started by the Visigoths. It's an old saying.
Wow.
Back to Visigoth time.
Yeah.
When was that?
2794.
That's right. The age of the Visigoth.
Yeah.
Yes. That checks out.
It happened in what is now called Europe.
So this episode drops on January 19th. Does anybody have anything coming
the
up?
19th of January.
Yes. January 19th.
January 19th. Well, let's see. Well, my trip to San Francisco to do comedy at Sketchfest got canceled because of COVID.
Did it really?
Yeah. They canceled Sketchfest. They canceled the whole thing.
Well, once you weren't going, what was the point?
Exactly.
Well, COVID canceled it, and then I was a result of that not happening. So
for the fallout, that collateral damage.
Yeah.
I thought you couldn't make it and they decided to cancel
that. Probably would have happened, but I agreed to do their little party festival.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, COVID's really biting my dick lately and producing penis oil.
It's the only way that you can produce it anymore.
Mark, you have a show coming up next month, don't you?
With Mike.
Yeah.
With Mike.
February 25th.
February 25th, yeah. I believe.
In Denton.
I'm good at remembering dates week to week.
In Denton, Texas.
We might have 3 members of INS at that show.
Brian, you should come to that show too, and then we can take.
Yeah.
Where's it going to be?
Yeah, the team.
Ruber Gloves.
Where's it going to be? Oh,
you banned from there?
No, not there. What day is the 25th? What is that?
It's a Friday.
Oh, it's a Friday. And will that be a Vidicon show?
Yes, if we can pull it together.
If I go to Denton, Texas to see a show, and you're the reason that the show I go to see doesn't happen, I will be furious. I can't imagine anything more infuriating than a wasted trip to a place that I really have almost no reason, except for Kevin, to go to anymore.
My mom lives there.
She lives in Corinth.
That's true. You got recycled books and records. That's the best place on earth.
I thought that place went out of business.
Nah, man.
No, it's still around.
Still around?
Happiest place on earth.
Great, amazing comic and graphic novel section. I'm going to say that.
Oh,
right
man,
now.
I've
always something good there.
My early love for books was fueled 100% by recycled books and records.
Yep, me too. It's still great. I got a friend a autographed Jeff Foxworthy 8x10.
Wow.
That's awesome. Where else are you going to find that?
Where else are you going to find that?
Probably
name one other store.
Probably
in
not
America.
for a dumb amount of money. I mean, you could find it other places, but it would be
Probably truck stops.
No, man.
I will say this last time, because I went there when I was on break, and
were you on holiday?
I was on holiday from uni. It's university, I call it.
Yeah.
Metaphysical, spiritual section was a little bit cleaned out, so I don't know what was going on with that. It was a little cleaned out. They usually have more, but maybe people are
working on
people are holding on to their occult novels. Or their occult, not novels, but their occult.
They're just selling out of stuff because of QAnon right now.
Well, but QAnon only believes in dumb shit. They don't believe in cool shit like Bigfoots and fucking Bermuda Triangles and shit.
There's a lot of chatter in the community, as I'm sure you're aware, Mike, as an avid sound bather, that there's some special interest groups that are going around trying to buy up a lot of hard to find reference material for the metaphysical world. So they might just be another casualty of big medicine, big pharma trying to shut down.
How's the AM community, the astral magician community, the AM community dealing with that?
Well, that's the more antiquated term. I don't mind being called an astral magician, but we try to call ourselves quantum magicians.
I mean, I guess I understand, because astral makes it a little woo woo, a little spacey.
Right. It's a legitimacy thing. Yeah. So we go with quantum magician. We're hanging tough. There's a lot of forces aligned against us,
literally,
but we are armed with the tools, though,
ley lines
to harness the energies of earth and science and the physical world around us and the spiritual world at times necessary to protect ourselves. So we're doing okay. We're hanging in there. I think we're gonna be all right.
Well,
how's it with the sound bathers, you guys?
Well, in the SB scene, we are a little,
it's adjacent to the BM scene.
Well, no, I will say, SB, the sound bathers, we do. I mean, part of the thing is you get together, you want to rub on some bowls, you want to get some glasses filled with water.
What do you rub on the bowls?
And it's a sound bathing thing. It's you wouldn't understand. You get a bunch of glasses of different amounts of liquid in there, and lick your finger and rub it on the top there. Get some good tone. We rub each other's rims, and we have glasses at different there's different amounts of liquid in each one. You lick your finger, and then you rub more rims in that order. And and afterwards, it's like going, like I was saying, it was like going to chiropractor, but for your chakras. Okay, so your chakras are in line, and sometimes you are exhausted. So what do you need? You need a big frothy glass of BM, and you just sometimes you're drinking it down. It's you're so into it. You need that that lactose. That female lactose, and it's just running down each cheek because you get it all over your tunic, and but I am hoping that I am hoping that the SB scene will really solidify in 2022, and make sure that the Amazons and the Alibabas and the Scholastic book fairs put our literature in where it needs to be, in front of the people.
Your mouth to God's ears.
My BM covered mouth to God's ears.
So I think that wraps up another week of the International News Service.
Is that a wrap?
Find us across social media at International News Pod. Email us at internationalnewspod@gmail.com. Check out our merch store at Redbubble, where we'll soon be offering dick oil jewelry, and our Patreon. We'll see you next week.
Oh, are we gonna thank our many supporters from around the globe, from the international community, for
sticking with us,
helping make this, for guys, 1 year of a lot of fun, right?
A lot of fun,
a lot of learning,
and a lot of laughs.
But a lot of fun.
I will say this, like Mike was pointing this out last week, so I'm just stealing it from him. But, the fact that there are people I've never, like, there's no way I would ever have any contact with from other countries who were like, yeah, I listen to your podcast every week and it's great.
Yeah.
Except for that Brian. Like, it really
Well, that's
touches
probably
me.
true.
Really hits me, right in the balls.
Yeah, and
Right.
I know I went on a big rant about how it's shitty to review food in restaurants, but it's cool. It's actually
It's
cool
super
to
cool.
review the International News Service and
Right.
give it five forks. Give us 5 forks wherever they should. You know what? Get on Yelp. Review us on Yelp.
We're on Yelp, aren't we?
Say that we make tasty BM.
Thank you for listening to the International News Service. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. INS, the news you need.